In the world of gaming, some games simply go unnoticed, overshadowed by the spotlight on major releases and iconic franchises. It's fascinating how truly incredible games, full of innovation, engaging narratives, and creative gameplay, fail to receive the attention they deserve. These games often lack massive marketing, but they carry a quality that stands on par with the industry giants. While some shine in the mainstream, these overlooked gems remain hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered by those seeking something special. They feature stories, mechanics, and moments that can be just as memorable as the biggest blockbusters. Let's explore some of these forgotten gems that definitely deserve a chance to shine. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring you daily content so you never miss a detail from the world of gaming. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd be really happy. From one gamer to another, kicking off the list, the Pathless delivers a visually mesmerizing adventure in an open world full of mysteries and freedom. The game places you in the role of an archer who, alongside their faithful eagle, must navigate stunning landscapes and face enigmatic challenges. The absence of a traditional map turns exploration into something instinctive, where every step seems guided by your own sense of discovery, a feeling few games manage to recreate so fluidly. The movement here is one of the standout features, offering a fluidity that makes every second feel rewarding. Solving puzzles and unlocking areas becomes addictive, especially because everything is integrated into the narrative and gameplay in such an organic way. The battles against giant bosses are as intense as they are strategic, always keeping the pace exciting and the sense that you're playing something truly special. The soundtrack is another element that elevates the experience, masterfully highlighting moments of tension and contemplation. As you run, slide, and fly, the world around you comes to life, creating an immersion that rivals the best games ever made. It's impossible not to feel that this journey invites you to explore leisurely, but with curiosity and passion. Next, we have Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, a game that combines strategy and stealth in a richly detailed setting inspired by feudal Japan. Each mission is like a puzzle, where careful planning and execution are key. The challenge lies in orchestrating every movement, using the unique skills of your characters to overcome obstacles and eliminate enemies creatively. The level design is impressive, offering multiple ways to achieve your objectives. You can choose to sneak into shadows, avoid patrols, or create distractions to pave the way for precise actions. The level of detail in the environments is jaw-dropping, from rice fields to well-guarded fortresses, each setting contributing to the constant tension of not being detected. What truly stands out is how the game rewards you for thinking outside the box. Small victories, like tricking a guard with a well-placed trap, bring unmatched satisfaction. Few games manage to convey such a sense of control over the situation. The setting, combined with the complexity of the missions, grips you in a way that makes it hard to put the controller down. In third place, Hob delivers an enigmatic journey in a world that is both mechanical and organic, transforming before your eyes. With a striking visual style, the game impresses by seamlessly blending exploration and puzzle solving into a single flow. Each environment, carefully crafted, hides secrets and reveals new paths as you interact with the surroundings. Progression feels almost natural, with mechanics that challenge without frustrating, always encouraging observation and reasoning. It's fascinating how the map adjusts as your actions shape the terrain. This aspect creates a unique bond between you and the living world, as if it's reacting to your choices in a tangible way. The contrast between the vibrant visuals and the melancholic atmosphere add a special touch to the game. The absence of dialogue reinforces the mystery, allowing the narrative to unfold visually and intuitively. Few games manage to convey so much through interaction with the world, and that's exactly what makes each moment unforgettable. In fourth place, Echo stands out by offering a fresh take on the action and stealth genre. where your own choices become your greatest threat. Set in a futuristic palace, the game presents a system where the location observes and learns from every action you make, adapting the enemies to behave exactly like you. This concept creates constant tension, demanding attention with every move. The main mechanic revolves around cycles of observation and reconfiguration. During light periods, the palace analyzes your patterns, while in the dark, enemies stop evolving, allowing you to plan more effectively. This alternation turns ordinary situations into moments of great strategy, especially when the copies replicate your tactics with unnerving precision. The visual design complements this experience, with vast corridors and oppressive architecture that contribute to the feeling of being watched. Everything, from the subtle sounds to the way enemies appear, reinforces an atmosphere that grabs your attention. Few games manage to create such a creative dynamic, where even mistakes become part of the learning process. In the fifth spot, Enslaved Odyssey to the West transforms one of the most iconic tales in Chinese literature into a creative and visually stunning post-apocalyptic narrative. Based on the legend of the Monkey King, which also inspired works like Black Myth Wukong, the game transports the essence of the story into a ravaged future where threatening machines dominate once vibrant landscapes. This adaptation reinterprets classic themes, such as the journey and challenges of partnership, with a striking and contemporary approach. What stands out is how the original narrative is redefined in such a different context. The conflicts, which once involved spirits and gods, are now represented by imposing machines, while the exploration of environments filled with danger and mystery reflects the spirit of the legends. The game manages to capture the essence of the tale, where personal growth and trials are central, but it does so in a way that makes the story accessible and exciting for modern audiences. The dynamism of the design and the richness of the environments reinforce this link between the classic and the new, creating a universe that both honors its roots and delivers something innovative. It's fascinating how this work connects traditional and futuristic elements, securing its place among the best games that uniquely reinterpret beloved stories. In sixth place, Alice Madness Returns turns the well-known journey through Wonderland into a visceral descent into madness. The environments, with their disturbingly rich visuals, are much more than mere backdrops. They personify the traumas and fragmented memories of the protagonist. From the grotesque to the sublime, each setting pulses with details that seem to whisper stories beneath the surface. The gameplay is marked by a dynamic blend of combat and exploration, with tools that stand out both in style and functionality. Using a kettle as a long-range weapon or a toy horse as a mallet isn't just inventive. It perfectly reflects the duality between innocence and violence that permeates every aspect of the game. This creativity extends to the challenges, which require both precision and constant adaptation to the mechanics that unfold in each chapter. What makes everything even more intriguing is the narrative intertwined with the progression itself. As you move forward, small clues reveal themselves, connecting pieces of a broken mind as Wonderland distorts further. It's a tale of decay and redemption told visually, mechanically, and emotionally, something few games manage to achieve with such mastery. In seventh place, Call of the Sea takes us to a mysterious island in the 1930s, where every detail seems to have a hidden meaning. Inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft, but without embracing traditional horror, the game focuses on a narrative full of symbolism and intriguing puzzles. From ancient ruins to exotic flora, the setting is a character in itself, inviting the player to uncover its secrets. The puzzles are the heart of the gameplay, challenging logic in creative ways. Each challenge is deeply connected to the world around, whether it's translating ancient inscriptions or manipulating enigmatic mechanical devices. It's fascinating how the setting influences the solutions, creating a sense of complete immersion. The progression is carefully designed to always surprise with new mechanics or twists in the narrative. The atmosphere of the place is amplified by the art direction and soundtrack, which shifts between moments of contemplation and rising tension. Small visual details, like reflections in the water or patterns etched on the walls of the ruins, enhance the feeling of being in a truly unique place. It's not just the island's visuals that stand out, but how it seems alive, reacting to the player's progress. This blend of captivating narrative and immersive puzzles turns the setting into something unforgettable. In 8th place, A Plague Tale: Innocence transports the player to medieval France during one of the darkest periods in history. The devastation of the Black Plague serves as a backdrop for an intense narrative where survival and sacrifice walk hand in hand. The environments, ranging from abandoned villages to devastated fields and ruined cathedrals, create an oppressive atmosphere that follows each step. The central mechanic revolves around fighting off hordes of rats that infest the world, creating unique moments of tension. Manipulating light to keep the vermin at bay, or using the environment to outwit human enemies are some of the strategies that make the journey captivating. Each situation requires creativity, with tools expanding as the story progresses, keeping the pace intense and unpredictable. The dark palette of the environments is complemented by meticulous details, such as the glow of fire reflecting in puddles of mud or the relentless sound of creatures lurking in the dark. These visual and auditory elements create a palpable sense of urgency. More than just a game, this work dives deep into horror and the fight for survival in desperate times. In 9th place, GreedFall explores a fictional age of discovery, where an island full of secrets and magic becomes the stage for intense disputes. The highlight is how the game blends narrative and setting, creating an atmosphere where the supernatural and the political intertwine. The island is alive and unpredictable, with ancient forests hiding enigmatic creatures and colonial cities buzzing with intrigue and ambition. The dynamics of relationships are a central element, where alliances can be built or destroyed based on your actions and words. The island's inhabitants, with their own cultures and beliefs, respond to interactions convincingly, adding depth to every conversation. It's not just about resolving conflicts. You must understand the motivations of different groups to navigate through this territory full of tension and mysteries. The impact of the world on the player is reinforced by how the visual and auditory details create a sense of immersion. Storms sweeping across the landscape, the sound of tribal drums in the distance, and shadows moving in the forest all contribute to an atmosphere that provokes and challenges. Every discovery on the island feels like a piece of a larger puzzle, inviting you to explore and uncover layers of interconnected stories. In the 10th position, Spec Ops: The Line immerses the player in a brutally intense narrative set in a Dubai devastated by sandstorms. This is not just a third-person shooter. It goes much deeper, challenging conventions and delivering a story that examines the psychological consequences of war. The destroyed city serves as an oppressive backdrop, where every ruin seems to carry the weight of past decisions. The highlight is how the story unfolds, leading the player to question their own actions throughout the campaign. Unexpected moments force deep reflections, while the growing tension is mirrored in the behavior of the characters. The combat mechanics integrate seamlessly with the storytelling, with battles that aren't just about eliminating enemies, but also facing dilemmas that directly impact the plot's progression. The contrast between the decaying opulence of the skyscrapers and the vast desolation of the desert creates a unique impact. The soundtrack, composed of tracks that echo melancholy and unease, amplifies the somber tone of the journey. It's not just about defeating adversaries, but dealing with the consequences of what's been done, creating an experience that leaves marks even after the credits roll. In the 11th position, Haven presents a delicate story of love and survival on an unknown planet. The focus here is on the connection between the protagonists, who leave everything behind to live freely in a vibrant world full of dangers. The contrast between the tranquility of exploration moments and the tension of combat is one of the most striking features, keeping the player immersed in the unfolding events. The floating movement system, which involves gliding through the landscapes in an almost hypnotic flow, is a central and distinctive element. It creates a unique sense of freedom as the player explores colorful plains, deep valleys, and mysterious ruins. During combat, which requires synchronization between the characters, strategic choices make each encounter challenging and rewarding. The carefully integrated electronic soundtrack complements the planet's visuals, reinforcing the futuristic atmosphere. Small details, like the natural dialogues between the protagonists and the way they interact with the environment, add a touch of humanity to this journey. Every step in this unknown world is filled with discoveries, showing that true strength lies in the bonds we build. In the 12th position, Rain World presents a survival journey where nature becomes both an ally and a relentless enemy. Controlling an agile and fragile creature, the challenge is to adapt to a hostile and dynamic ecosystem, where every predator behaves unpredictably. The torrential rains, deadly and unavoidable, are not just an obstacle, but a constant marker of urgency. The artificial intelligence is one of the game's biggest highlights, making encounters with other creatures deeply impactful. Predators react in various ways, forcing creative strategies to escape or deceive them. Navigating through intricate tunnels and vast open environments requires attention, as the world design, intentionally oppressive, hides passages and alternative routes amid the chaos. The minimalist aesthetic reinforces the brutality of the setting, contrasting with moments of surprising beauty, such as the light filtering through a flooded cave or the glow of a starry sky. Every visual and auditory element contributes to the sense of vulnerability and discovery, creating a unique survival experience that demands both instinct and persistence in equal measures. In the 13th position, Metro Last Light takes us deep into a subway system turned shelter after a nuclear apocalypse. The game features a claustrophobic underground world where every tunnel seems to hide a threat, whether in the form of mutant creatures or warring human factions. The dark lighting and muffled sounds intensify the tension, creating an atmosphere that captures your attention at every corner. Limited resources play a crucial role, forcing difficult choices at every step. Combat mixes intense action moments with the need for stealth, while ammunition serves both as a survival tool and a currency. Elements like gas masks and air filters add a sense of urgency, especially when exploring devastated areas on the surface. The narrative is masterfully delivered, intertwining the fight for survival with reflections on humanity and sacrifice. Small details, like graffiti on the walls or dialogues between secondary characters, enrich the setting, making the subway feel alive and terrifying. This balance between tension and narrative makes this game an immersive and memorable experience. In the 14th position, Call of Juarez Gunslinger brings the Wild West back to life with an engaging narrative full of twists. The story is told by a bounty hunter who, between drinks, recalls his adventures while the player relives each legendary confrontation. This unique narrative structure allows the narrator's perspective to change the course of events in real time, creating an unusual and fascinating dynamic. The combat is frenetic and stylized, with duels that perfectly capture the spirit of the Wild West. The focus mechanic adds a tactical element, allowing for precise shots even amid the chaos of flying bullets. The progression system allows for skill customization, making each encounter an opportunity to experiment with something new. The art direction brings the arid setting to life, with vast canyons, decaying saloons, and dusty trails evoking the atmosphere of the period. Small details, like the sound of spurs as you walk or the dust kicked up by fleeing horses, make the world vibrant and full of personality. More than just an action game, it's an ode to the Western genre, told with charm and irreverence. In the 15th position, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition delivers a vibrant and chaotic view of Hong Kong, where local culture and the criminal underworld intertwine in a plot full of tension. The protagonist, infiltrated in one of the most dangerous triads, lives in constant conflict between loyalty and duty, and this duality is reflected in every decision made. The city is a spectacle in itself, with crowded markets, ancient temples, and streets lit by neon lights. The hand-to-hand combat mechanics are one of the highlights, with fluid moves that resemble martial arts choreography. Additionally, car and motorcycle chases through crowded streets offer a dose of adrenaline, especially with the daring maneuvers the system encourages. Each mission brings different challenges, balancing intense confrontations with moments of investigation and infiltration. The small details in the world reinforce its authenticity, from the music playing in taxis to the food vendors offering typical dishes. The mix of cinematic action and cultural elements creates an atmosphere that not only entertains, but also transports the player to the heart of a metropolis as alive as it is dangerous. In the 16th position, the Saboteur offers a unique approach to World War II, placing the player in the role of a mechanic-turned-resistance fighter in occupied Paris. The creative use of color in the setting is a standout, with areas under Nazi control displaying monochromatic tones that gradually come to life and gain color as they are liberated. This visual transition symbolizes hope and the impact of the player's actions. The mechanics combine stealth, combat, and climbing, allowing players to explore the city in a vertical manner. Climbing iconic landmarks such as the Eiffel Tower or hidden churches in bustling neighborhoods adds a sense of immersion and freedom. The missions range from risky sabotage to explosive chases, constantly challenging the player to adapt to different situations without repeating formulas. The environments are enriched with period details, from neon-lit cabarets to classic cars cruising cobblestone streets. The soundtrack blends melancholic jazz with tense undertones, reinforcing the atmosphere of a divided city. This attention to detail in both setting and plot gives the game its own identity, making it more than just a story of revenge and resistance. In the 17th position, God of War Ascension takes the player on a journey to explore the origins of one of gaming's most iconic figures, in a chapter that precedes his quest for vengeance. The journey is marked by colossal challenges and intense combat, which stand out for their brutality and fluidity. The setting alternates between devastated ruins, gigantic temples, and supernatural landscapes, each impressively detailed. The battles gain depth with the secondary weapon system, allowing a varied approach against hordes of enemies. The puzzles provide moments of respite between the clashes, utilizing mythological elements to create enigmas that require reasoning and observation. This combination of frantic action with moments of strategy brings a dynamic balance that sustains the rhythm throughout the narrative. The grandeur of the universe is amplified by the epic soundtrack and the artistic direction, which creates breathtaking environments and battles against creatures that seem to have emerged directly from Greek mythology. Each encounter, whether with enemies or elements of the setting, reinforces the feeling of facing forces beyond comprehension, shaping the legend of a warrior destined for eternity. In the 18th position, Oxenfree presents an unsettling plot centered around a group of friends who inadvertently open a portal to supernatural forces during a trip to an isolated island. The game stands out for its engaging narrative, where the dialogue flows naturally and shapes the events based on the player's choices. This system makes the interactions carry weight and significance, influencing both relationships and the mystery surrounding the location. The use of a radio as a central tool to interact with the unknown is a unique touch, creating a direct connection between the player and the entities that inhabit the island. Each frequency picked up reveals disturbing messages or sounds, adding layers to the suspense. Exploring the island combines impactful visual discoveries with clues that tie the supernatural events to something much larger. The minimalist art style and dark tones reinforce the sense of isolation, while the electronic soundtrack, at times ethereal, and at other times disturbing, accompanies the tensest moments. The game perfectly captures the atmosphere of a mystery story, balancing the supernatural with real human conflicts in a setting that seems to hide secrets around every corner. In the 19th position, Blasphemous offers a dark and brutal vision inspired by Spanish religious folklore, blending grotesque elements with a deeply detailed aesthetic. The setting is a world devastated by penance, where every visual detail tells a story of suffering and redemption. The architecture of decaying temples and the bizarre creatures roaming the halls create an oppressive and fascinating atmosphere. The gameplay combines precision and challenge, requiring quick reflexes in intense combat and careful exploration of interconnected areas. Each boss encounter is memorable, with creatures that impress both in design and difficulty, forcing the player to constantly adapt their approach. Progression is reinforced by abilities and relics that offer new ways to interact with the environment, expanding access to previously unreachable areas. The narrative is presented in a fragmented way, through enigmatic dialogues and items that reveal pieces of the past of this universe. The soundtrack, with its melancholic tones and dark reverberations, complements the journey, making the weight of the world even more palpable. This mix of mythology and tragedy transforms the experience into something unique, impossible to ignore. Continuing, we have Black Mesa, a modern reimagining of the classic Half-Life that not only revives nostalgia, but also enhances every aspect of the original. The setting of the Black Mesa Research Complex is presented with an impressive level of detail, from the laboratories to the corridors destroyed by experiments gone wrong. Each area has been carefully redesigned to balance fidelity with innovation. The combat keeps the essence of the original game, but with significant improvements in physics and enemy AI. The aliens and soldiers react dynamically, forcing the player to use the environment to their advantage. Moments such as crossing irradiated areas or escaping from giant creatures intensify the immersion, offering unique challenges in every phase of the journey. The reimagining of the planet's landscapes is one of the most notable highlights. The alien world has gained much more detailed and atmospheric dimensions, with bioluminescent flora and passages that seem alive. This added attention not only expands the game's universe, but also reinforces its relevance as a milestone in the action and sci-fi genre. These games show that, even away from the spotlight, the world of gaming holds incredible adventures that just need a chance. Tell me, which of these games have you had the chance to play? Is there one that caught your curiosity and you'd add to your list of upcoming games? We'd love to know which one is going to capture your attention. And go ahead and let me know in the comments which game you think should be on this list. Is there a game you believe deserves more recognition and would fit perfectly in this video? Leave your suggestion in the comments. And if you can, subscribe to the channel to help me grow and never be in doubt about what to play. I've left 2 game lists in the card, one I've chosen for you and another one YouTube picked. Just click on one of them to watch.